All right, excellent. Here we are. Ooh, YouTube and stuff. That's fun. Why did I wanna hear music, Christmassy music. Thinking about it, what kind of Christmas music would I listen to? I don't know. Anyway, I wonder if anyone is actually watching this. Is anyone watching this? Probably someone is watching this. What a wild day. What a wild year. What a wild anything. 4 people are watching this, so yes. Hold on. Przemek. I'm really bad with names and faces. Ulrika, hi. Hi, Giacomo. Fantastic to see a few people actually joining. Hi, Matthias. Przemek, right? How do you pronounce this? Przemek, I think. Where are you all from? I mean, for Ulrika and Giacomo, I know where you're from, but Matthias and Przemek, I don't know. Przemek is a Polish name, if I remember correctly. But that doesn't mean that I know where exactly you're from. And thanks for mentioning the hat. I'm really happy with this hat. This is going to be a very Christmassy video. And it's also a weird experiment that I don't know why I did this. Earlier this week, I was like, I should just, do an AMA, because why not? I'm kind of getting into the Christmas mood. I know it's very late considering that tomorrow is Christmas Eve, but slowly but surely I'm like getting into the festive mood. And today is a very festive day. That's why I have this very festive hat. I made myself an apple tea in a wonderful mug that says "Do epic shit," which is a good motto, I think. It's a Microsoft mug for those who wonder. Because why not? It doesn't really matter where it's from. And then I have my vegan roasted almond thing. I don't want to call it chocolate because I don't think it's chocolate, but it sounds nice. We'll see how that goes. I'll try that out. If it's not good, I also still have a few cashew nuts left. So there's that. Hi, Praveen. So, what brought you all here? No, just kidding. I know that you're here because of the AMA. And I had a look through the questions that were submitted. There are a few nice questions in there. Most of them are a little uninspired considering that this is the first video AMI that I do. And most people ask me about SEO stuff. And I'm like, feels like work. And it's the Christmas week. But fine, if that's what people want to know. I always wonder why. There's the office hours. Why don't you submit these to the office hours? Why do you? Okay, fine. Fine. Also, hold on, actually. Okay. To be fair, 90% of the people self-identify as SEOs, and one is a curious friend. Curious friend, that's interesting. I like that. Ooh, and also I got more questions now. I'll put these in a spreadsheet and then go through them. How's everyone doing? I hope that you're all healthy, safe, with your loved ones, or at least in contact with your loved ones and having a good evening or day or morning. Or where are you all from? I think the tea is ready now, I hope. Oh, apple tea. Fantastic invention. Also, I took a lot of time and effort to actually put a bolt snap on my backup lamp, but then somehow it unravels, so I have to do that again, which is okay. So we have questions, and holy shit, people in the questions field have really taken advantage of the fact that you can put in a lot. There's a lovely question. How will this update affect information resources, for example, IT blogs? I'm assuming what they mean is the recent core update, and it may or may not change their ranking. It may rank them higher. It may rank them lower. That's all there is to a core update. Good question. Festive season indeed. Poland, Germany. I'm from Zurich, Switzerland. We have India here as well. I know we have Sweden. Giacomo, are you based in? I don't remember. Hold on. Italy would be too easy, wouldn't it? Don't know. But anyway, so a few people watching. Few people have submitted questions. Let's go through them. Let's go through the easier ones first. What is the best way to create footnotes in articles? Links under content or direct links in numbers? Doesn't really matter. Whatever you prefer. It's a stylistic question, really, I think. I would probably go for the old format where you have like a little number that is basically just a fragment jump and then have a fragment below the article with the full URL or something like that. But it doesn't really matter as much. What other questions do we have? Most of them are really long. 2020 brought us new looks. What can we expect for 2021? Will pink make a comeback? Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. 2020 brought you short hair because I'm diving a lot. And long hair and cold air and cold water, not fantastic. It's just dang cold. And I enjoy having short hair. You just put a hat on and then you have a warm, nice head again. And it's easier to deal with. Maybe long hair makes a reoccurrence or reappearance. And if I have long hair, pink might come back. With short hair, I don't feel like coloring it because it's kind of like, But with long hair, maybe pink comes back. Italy working in the UK. So you are probably based in the UK now, right? And I hope that you are still getting to see your loved ones and family. Aurora, you want me to bring back, hold on, please, for what? Long hair, just long hair, or specifically long pink hair? Also, it's unfortunate that you actually are demanding long hair when you just cut your hair. Pink, fine. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, so Barry prefers the hat over the hair coloring, but you could have both, like long pink hair plus the hat. And I have other hats as well. Hold on, actually. So as this is like the pre-Christmas thing, I'll take the freedom to do whatever. So we do actually have a Santa hat as well. As I'm not really listening to music, I can just actually not wear headphones either. So we do have a Santa hat. Ooh. I should probably get the stream thing also on the screen so that I actually see what's happening on the stream. And I can do fun things such as these that I just realized. Yes, pink hair is probably going to make a reoccurrence. Yes, the hat. But how do you like this hat? Do you prefer this hat over the other, or is the other hat better? I see. Fine. You saw it already, didn't you? Here. I haven't worn the squid hat in a long time. So which of the three hats is your favorite, everyone? Do you prefer... where is the... Here. Do you prefer the squid hat, or is it the... Okay, so Barry does like the orange squid hat. I see that. I can see that. Short and pink. Aurora, I could do that, but I don't know. Short hair and coloring it is kind of like, I don't know. I want it to be long and nice. And also, I prefer the gradients, and with short hair, gradients are particularly tricky, I think. Okay, so the vote is in for the for this hat. Miriam Yessi gave me this hat at Webmaster. No, sorry, what was it called? Google Dance Zurich 2018. And then last year, Dido Grigorov gave me the Christmassy hat. But I should have other things. Hold on, wait. This cupboard is overpacked actually, but I also have this because Ulrika said the pink was very unicorny, to which I can say I have that as a hat as well. And the unicorn hat, I can't remember who gave it to me, but it's really nice because it has these mittens. So, so that would be, and look at that, there's pink. So Aurora, you should be happy. Pink is back. But it's not very Christmassy, I think. I don't know, but if that ever becomes an option that I can do like my entire living off of YouTubers or being on YouTube putting hats on, then that would be freaking sweet. But if not, that's also fine. I actually like my job. I'll be honest with you. I really, really like my job. And it's not about hats. I do have a few hats though. I feel like I should go back to 2019 because that was a really nice December, Christmassy time. So here we are. And I somehow managed to actually do have fun and oh my goodness. Now, so should I go back to the unicorn or the squid hat? A lot of people seem to love the squid hat. I'll just stay in this one for a while. It jingles. I feel very jingly today. What's your preferred dessert? Ooh, that's really tricky. So, if you would ask my dive buddies, so there's a thing where after most of our dives, we used to go to one specific pizzeria and they have a pretty good tiramisu. So if you would ask my dive buddies, they would probably say tiramisu. But that's not really like the thing. It's not the biggest dessert or my favorite dessert. It's so hard because it really depends on what I crave at the time of being asked. I do know that the green jelly that you get in Germany is definitely something that I do crave every now and then. And when I have a craving for jelly, it makes me very happy to have jelly. A friend of mine bought me a gigantic box of jelly because you can't get it in supermarkets here for reasons that are beyond me. And he bought me a gigantic box in Germany and sent it to me via mail. And I was very happy to receive that. It's also the green one has a taste, or the flavor has a really weird English phrase for it. The German phrase is Waldmeister, which probably means nothing to anyone except for probably Matthias, who is probably listening quite intently now. What's Waldmeister in English? Because Woodruff apparently is a flavor that is very popular in German sweets, but it apparently absolutely isn't outside of Germany. So when I say like, oh, it's Woodruff, then people respond with to that with like confusion, basically. Isn't this fun? Yeah, tiramisu is nice. And I do have my cravings, and then I really, really enjoy good tiramisu. Ben & Jerry's cookie dough is also really tempting if I want that, if that's what I want. Creme brulee can be nice. Not that nice, though. I think I vote for the green jelly that I had as a kid quite often. Yeah, there's green. Okay, oh my goodness. I love how the Germans call it Wackelpudding, which basically literally means jiggling pudding. It's amazing. Grüner Wackelpudding. Because if I don't have a... Here's a recipe. I don't know if that recipe is particularly good because it says without sugar, so it can't be good. So let's get the... Where can I want... Why exactly does a gardening website have a whatever? It's a German recipe, but I'm pretty sure Google Translate will help. have fun if you can get the ingredients. Because as I said, like I don't know anyone outside of Germany who's aware of the Woodruff stuff. And apparently you can get it fresh. I've never actually seen it fresh. When I Googled the English translation for Waldmeister, I actually saw a picture of the plant and I'm like, okay. I'm pretty sure they're doing the flavor with some sort of chemicals instead. So yeah, the green stuff, best thing ever. Okay. Lots of work questions I really can't be asked. What do you think SEO should know about JavaScript if they are not familiar with JavaScript? What should they learn first? Ooh, that's a good question. I love the background. That's clearly someone who's working at Google. I'm not sure who that is, but I have a feeling I know that. What should you know about JavaScript as an SEO if you don't know about JavaScript? I think the very basic is that you should understand that JavaScript per se is just a programming language, a general purpose programming language. But if you apply it in the context of a browser, which means if you are building a website and use JavaScript on the website inside the browser of the person viewing your website, that JavaScript holds the key to anything interactive. Like HTML, it's just a bunch of content that is displayed and you can't really do much with that content. The CSS is just how the content looks like, where it goes on the page. And then anything interactive, anything interesting, you can do that changes the content by adding more content, removing content, making the content interactive by clicking on it, and then things happen, like interactive charts or whatever. All of that is JavaScript. Yes, you can do interactive charts with SVG and CSS, but I haven't really seen that done as much. Most of it is actually JavaScript. So JavaScript has a lot of power, but that also means it comes with a lot of responsibility. Because you can make or break the website, basically. And the trick is that users consume web content in a variety of ways. And while HTML and CSS give you a lot of safe working defaults, with JavaScript, you have to build these yourself often. And oftentimes that gets forgotten. And so normally I say whenever you can avoid JavaScript, avoid it. If you have to use JavaScript for something, then use it responsibly. It's a little like alcohol, I think. What else do we have in here? Actually, I can refresh. Maybe more things come in as we speak. Because I really don't want to answer the JavaScript. Actually, JavaScript questions I'm very happy to answer. It's just the SEO questions. I'm like, oh, come on, we have the office hours for these. This is supposed to be fun. And work questions are not really fun. Is your wife working in tech as well? Microsoft? No, absolutely not. I got this mug, this Microsoft mug, because I was working in the VR space before, and specifically web VR, so virtual reality in the browser. And HoloLens is quite a cool thing, and we talked to the Microsoft people quite a bit. And at some point, they gave me these lovely mugs, and I was very, very happy to get them, because do epic shit is a pretty good motto, I think, especially considering 2020 and all it's given us. So the mug is a little older, but the Apple tea is fantastic. Oh, God. I bought the Apple tea really cheap from the store around the corner, so even better. What's your preferred dessert? I've answered that, I think. How to recruit an SEO specialist in Switzerland? Put out a job ad, offer money, and interview the candidates. I think that's good. I think that's a good strategy to hire someone in Switzerland, and specifically SEO specialist. Oh, check if they know what they do in the SEO space. Then it's probably a good SEO expert. Ooh, good question. Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm not very serious, but come on, it's Christmas. Your favorite dive of all time? Holy shit. You have opened a rabbit hole. You have opened Pandora's box, because so many dives have been like not so many, but like a bunch of them have been really, really lovely. I do remember. Okay, so I think my number one dive experience so far has been diving with mantas. That's got to be the best thing that has happened to me so far in terms of diving. You drive out like an hour with a boat from where we started, which was Wilhelmina Island in the Maldives. Drive an hour with a boat, you get excited, you have the anticipation of diving with mantas, hopefully, because they are wild animals and it's a national park. So it's very possible that we arrive there and there's no mantas, and that's just the reality of it. And then you have to deal with that. Or maybe it's one and they just passed by, and then we're like, okay, we got 10 seconds of mantas, woohoo! So that's kind of you kind of try to ground yourself in that expectation and say like, okay, maybe we see one or two mantas. Maybe we don't, and that's okay, because the treasure has been the friends we met along the way or something like that. And you drive there an hour long, you basically lie on the top of the boat in the sun, get some sunbathing done, talk to the other divers, what they have experienced and done. And if they're as excited as you are, they all are, even if they try to hide it. And then you arrive at the place, and the first good news is that you're the only boat, because normally there's lots of boats, which means there's lots of divers, and then it also may get crowded, and crowded also sometimes means that the mantas just fuck off because they're like, screw this, I want to not be here. We're the only boat. And actually, that's not true. I think there was one other boat, but not as many people. And then you get ready and you get excited, and they tell you, oh, there's a lot of current, but that's a good thing because current and mantas go well together. And you're like, ooh, you get more excited, you get in the water, 20, 30 meters visibility, you see very far in the distance, you go down in the blue, you sink on you get close to the reef, you swim along the reef, where the current, like basically in the shadow of the reef, so the current comes from here and you're like behind here, and then you go out into the current and it just keeps blowing, and you're like, okay, there's no way we can swim against this, but this is the manta point. So we basically hold on to stones, and it's ridiculous. Like you hold yourself on a stone or something, and some have like reef hooks that they put in stones or dead coral to kind of hold themselves, and you basically just hold on, and it's basically, imagine very, very dense air and then a lot of wind. So like it's a very strong current, and your mouthpiece jiggles, and if you turn, it's like, oh, okay, no, I'm not turning my head, and it's like you just hear the water whooshing by, and you're like, okay, but is that it? Like you're just like, okay, so I have enough air for another 20 minutes, and I am so deep that it's like 20-ish meters. It's like, okay, I have another, like, I don't know, 40 minutes time before I have to go up, but I only have air for another 20 minutes, and you wait. You hang there, you wait. The current blowing. You're excited. But at some point, you're just also slightly tired because you're like, oh, okay, I'm holding on. Nothing's happening. I'm breathing through my air. And then it comes. Gigantic, majestic, slowly moving, yet gliding through the current. And you're like, wow. It is just mind-blowing. And it passed over us. And because the bubbles that we exhale tickle them on the belly, they usually actually turn around and come back and do it again. For them, it's kind of like a spa, kind of like a jacuzzi kind of situation. And they just kept circling, and it was absolutely wonderful. Yeah, that was mind-blowing. That was definitely number one. It's bound to be number one. But then again, also, when I did my open water certification course, the first time not in a pool, I mean, diving in a pool is nice, but it's also not like mind-blowing. The moment we got in the open water, the moment we got into the Indian Ocean for the first time, even though it has just been like 6 meters underwater or something, you are there, you are floating, you are weightless. It is quiet around you. You only hear your own breathing. You see the fish and the turtle passes by, you're just like, wow, this is amazing. This is a completely different world. It's a completely different level of freedom. So that, even though it hasn't been, like if I would do that dive today, I'd be like, right, not that deep, not that many fish. Yay, turtle, good. Turtles are great. But also not so super rare, luckily not super rare, depending on where you go, obviously. Lake Zurich, very rare. Very, very, very rare. Haven't seen one yet. Yeah, so I would probably not be as mind blown, but the discovery that this completely new world just is about to open to me or be explorable did leave a very strong impression on me. My voice is breaking a little bit, maybe. So that's definitely number 2, and then number 3 must be, I don't know. That's already hard, because I do remember a really nice drift dive where basically drift dives are awesome because you just go in the water. It could be a river. It could just be a very strong current in the ocean. You just go in. You do fuck all basically. You do nothing. You hang there underwater like this, basically horizontally in the water, and the current does all the work. And you drift for like an hour, and then you drift along a reef. You go like, fishy, 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 cute fishy, 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 shrimps, fishy, 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 coral, 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 anemone, anemone. I think that was an anemone with a clownfish, but I'm not sure. Oh, there's more clownfish. That's amazing. Oh, a moray, look at that. And like the water does all the work for you. You basically just hang and enjoy yourself. If you take pictures, that's a little trickier, because then like the current blows you past the things that you want to take pictures of. So there's a little tricky, but it's quite a lot of fun. So that's definitely also a good dive. The drift dive I've done. Probably the number 1 was along the House Reef in the Maldives of Villa Mendu, and the other one in the Rhine River was also really nice. Huge catfish, amazing, 2 meters catfish, and you're like, oh my god, and you take out your camera and you, shit, okay, the current has done its work, and I have zoomed past that one, but it was really nice. But I think number 3 probably goes to the Verzasca. Verzasca is a valley, or actually a river in southern Switzerland. Ticino is the federal state from Switzerland here, and the water is really clear. It's quite cold, but not that cold. Really clear water, because it's a mountain river basically. It's not that deep, but it's really, really clear and really pretty, and has like a bunch of fish in them. And then we also did a mountain lake dive there, and we went into the other river that is nearby. It's the Maggia, and it's just, the water is so clear, and there's like waterfalls, and it's beautiful. It is amazing, and that has also been a really, really good experience. Also, I met one of my very permanent dive buddies there. Like, we are diving a lot together, and that has just been a fun trip and lovely, and you met new people, and it's been great. It's been really, really great. And I think that's my top 3. Like, the number 1 is definitely the manta dive. Number 2 is very likely the first dive that I ever did, just because of or maybe it's actually number 3. I think it's number 3. I think the Verzasca is a little higher. That has been also really, really nice. Yeah, that has been. It doesn't sound awesome. It is awesome. It really, really is awesome, and it's mind-blowing. I mean, I started when the year started, when 2019 ended, I had 9 dives. That's this many. 9. And now I have 147. I've been diving a lot this year, and it's been wild, and it has been amazing, and it has taught me a lot. And we had a few, I wouldn't consider them near misses, but we had a few serious situations underwater. Every now and then, once one of my buddies got a little stressed, stress being the precursor of panic, and panic is the last thing we want underwater. One time someone didn't maintain their breathing gas reserve very well, so they had to breathe off of my tank as well, which is not a problem. It's just like, that's a situation, that's the first layer of security that you shouldn't breach. And so that was like, ooh, yep, we learned something here. And we learned lots of small things. Like we once were, so we have a bunch of rules that came up because of things that we experienced, right? In Lake Zurich, for instance, when the visibility is really bad, normally the practice, what happens when you lose your buddy. So like we are 2 or 3 people in the water at all times, at least 2. And if you don't see the other person anymore, or if you are a group of 3 and then one person goes missing, the official procedure is you look for the buddy for a minute and then you go up and then you reunite at the surface, so that the other person also goes like, shit, I lost them, looks around for a minute and then goes up. And then you all see each other on the surface and everything's good. In Lake Zurich, with basically no visibility, if you don't see your buddy, just don't search. Just like look around one time, like do a full turn, 360 degree. If you don't see them, up you go. That's what you do. Because there's searching for a minute is just wasting time, wasting everyone's time. Just go up. Another thing that we came up with was only change one thing at a time. 1, not like 2, because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I got a new jacket and I got a new lamp and I got a new regulator that I breathe from and I have different fins, and then they go in the water and they are basically a beginner at dive 1 again, when they have all these new things that can A, work differently than they expect, B, not feel right underwater and increase your stress, and like there's a bunch of things that can go wrong. So we ended up saying like you can only change one thing at a time, not 2, not 3, no matter what these things are. I mean, sure, yeah, maybe a wetsuit, yeah, sure, but like don't change too many things. And then also, if it's a new dive site that you haven't seen before, you don't dive that at night. That's actually an official procedure as well. If we do night dives, we do them at dive sites that we've been to before. But I learned a lot. I did my rescue diver certification. That was really cool. Was a really harsh course, but that was a really interesting one. Lots of stories to tell from that one. And I am considering in 2021, because someone asked like, what do we get in 2021? I'm actually considering going professional. The lowest professional qualification in diving for PADI is dive master. So I am taking the dive master course because I want to unlock this underwater world for other people. I want to guide people to show them the beautiful dive sites that we have here in Switzerland. I want to help other people improve as divers, because so many people have helped me become a better diver over the course of the last 2 years. So I definitely want to get down that path as well as a hobby. So that's going to be interesting. Good books for long winter nights. Pretty much anything from Terry Pratchett is fantastic for long winter nights, because it just paints a beautiful picture of a very different world, the disc world, and is beautifully written, very funny, very hilarious, with lots of pop culture references. So it's really funny, and it drags you into a fun and interesting world. And I think that's exactly what I need in winter times, because if my winter blues hits, or SAD as it's medically called, I'm really, really happy if I get the opportunity to be sucked into a different world. So that's that. Any Terry Pratchett book really from the Discworld tales is appreciated. Douglas Adams, both the entire books from all the books from the Hitchhiker's Guide anthology, but also, what is the other book that he wrote? Damn, it's about a spaceship. I know it sounds like the Hitchhiker's Guide, but it's not the Hitchhiker's Guide. It's a different book. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Service is also quite nice, or Detective Agency, that's what it's called. Not bad, interesting, fun, but there is one specific, gosh. Maybe it's not Douglas Adams. Maybe I'm actually misattributing a book. No, I'm not seeing it now. Anyway, Douglas Adams, great author. If you are more, well, you said long winter nights, so those are long winter night books. Short ones, Scarlett Thomas, Popco is pretty good and short. I did enjoy The Martian, the book, not the film, the book. Trust me, the book, not the film, the book. Something from Dürrenmatt, yes, German author. Sorry for that. Actually, Swiss author. Dürrenmatt has written a bunch of really, really good books, quite specific, but good books. So top 3, anything from Terry Pratchett. Top 2, so that's number 1. 2 would be Douglas Adams and The Hitchhiker's Guide specifically. And then for shorter, number 3 would be Popco from Scarlett Thomas. I did not dive in Silver Planet yet. Silver Planet, where is that even? It's a good question. Silver Planet. Is that in Switzerland? Could be. Oh, hold on. Isn't that the mountain lake? Yes, that is the mountain lake. It's pretty beautiful, but I haven't been there yet. I'm actually considering if Corona does not kill that specific plan in February, we will be, in January. At some point in January, we are booked to a ice dive. So we will go to a frozen lake in Switzerland. We'll cut a huge hole in there with a chainsaw because that's what you do apparently. And then we'll go dive under the ice. Woohoo! I haven't had the opportunity to dive in Silver Planet. How deep is that? And do you see like a lot of fish, or is it more for the? Is it wall dives? Is it? What's it called? Slope dives? What is it? What do you see in Silver Planet? I haven't been, Matthias. Tell me, how does diving in Silver Planet look like? And then I'm checking the questions again because I'm pretty sure people are submitting more questions, and I'll probably even get to the SEO ones at some point. Oh, shudder. Not that I don't like the SEO questions. It's just like we have the office hours for those. Oh God, we have 21 responses. Oof. Okay. You only went hiking. You haven't been diving either. Okay, in that case, I need to try it out at some point, and I'll report back how the dive was. What else do we have? Do you celebrate Christmas? If so, what will you do? We kind of don't, and not because we don't like it or anything. It's just like, I don't know. As a child, it has been a huge family thing. But then my sister moved away for studying and working, and then she actually moved to Switzerland. So I'm from northern Germany. My sister at some point moved to Switzerland, so she was far away. I moved to eastern Germany, so I was relatively far away from family. And the family component of Christmas was what was most interesting and exciting and happy to me. And as that kind of fell apart in the way that we like spread across the lands, Christmas has mostly lost its thing. And actually my parents have been a little bit of a like Grinch couple, I guess. My Grinchy parents don't really celebrate it as anymore. Like they're like, we do it for the kids, and then the kids are no longer kids, even though I would argue that I'm still a kid, but that's a different story, I guess. Legally speaking, I'm not a kid anymore. So they're not really like doing much for Christmas either. And so that kind of has died out. My wife's family does celebrate Christmas a lot, and it's like a lot of people coming together, and I kind of enjoy that. But with this year, tricky to get all the people together. The other thing is that my wife is an introvert, and she does not necessarily thrive on a lot of people in a small amount of space and crammed over time. So she's like, can we not? And then we're hanging out here at home, and we can't really be asked to like do big Christmas celebration-y things. And to be honest, I don't miss it. as the family part was the most important part for me. Traditionally, we are kind of doing our own way of celebrating Christmas, where we just cuddle up and have a good time together. And usually we go eat out. Well, dine out is no longer a thing in Switzerland. So we'll probably order some food, we'll hang out. I might do a dive with a friend or 2 dives with 2 different friends tomorrow. We'll see about that. But we don't really celebrate Christmas much. And I don't really miss it. For me, Christmas is a time where I get to do whatever I want to do together with my wife. And if she doesn't want to do anything and she's like, I want my own time today, then it's really just what I do what I want to do, which I don't get to do very often throughout the year. So I really enjoy that as well. Get elements by ID. Actually, it's get element by, get elements by, by class name or whatever. Query selector all, because it's more flexible. There you go. I want query selector all for president. Do you have a cat? I used to have a cat called Charlie. And we are considering potentially getting a new cat soon. Again, well, I mean, like soon. Eventually, we'll probably have a cat again. Even though I consider actually having 2 cats, because then the cats have each other to also have a little bit of cat-to-cat interaction. We live in a way, and so for multiple reasons, I wouldn't let cats outside. First, they are murderers. It's in their nature. It's nothing against their character or against them per se. It's just they are predators, and they are pretty good at being predators. And the problem with that is that they pretty much murder all the animals near where you live. And as many people have many cats, especially here in Switzerland, in this wonderful city of Zurich, our neighbors have plenty of cats. So I'm pretty sure we are not leaving a very positive footprint on the ecosystem around us. So I'd rather not have my cats go outside. The other thing is cats sometimes get run over. That's not very nice either. And I just don't want that. So I would not let my cat out. So it would have to stay in the apartment. For which a second cat for cat-to-cat interactions between them would be really nice, but our apartment isn't large enough to accommodate 2 cats. So we would have to move, and moving is a whole long story in Zurich as well. We are considering it, but it hasn't happened yet. Have you decided to work at Google for free coffee like Gary? More seriously, why did you decide to join Google? I have decided to join Google for all the swag we get. No, just kidding. I don't know. So I care a good deal about the web because the web is such a flexible and powerful platform. Anyone with very, very limited resources, anyone can put things on the web relatively easily. You don't have to be a developer. If you know HTML, and even that, you don't even need to know HTML. That's the thing. Like, you could hypothetically literally open Word and put the thing, or export the thing into HTML and then upload it onto some sort of web space, and voila, you have a website. Yes, sure, you can then also buy a domain, and you can use HTML and CSS and maybe some JavaScript to build something really fancy. You don't have to. You can literally use a text editor and put a text file together, get yourself an account with GitHub, upload an HTML file into a GitHub repository, activate GitHub pages. How to do that? Just read the manual. It's like, maybe it will take you an hour or something, and you can build a website. And no one can stop you. And I think that is brilliant. For iOS, you want to have an iOS app in the store. Well, first things first, pay $99, and then also have some Apple computers so that you can actually install Xcode, and then using Xcode. But, you know, like, what? Sure, there's phone gap, yada, yada, but all of that is even more complexity. Like, it's not easy. And if Apple doesn't like what you put in the App Store, they kick you out, and then you kind of have to deal with that. Android, you'll still have to pay like a certain amount of money to get started with the App Store, I think. But then you can use pretty much any laptop to build an app. But still, you need to learn Java. You need to learn the specifics of Android development. You need to go through that. You can also use Flutter, sure, and Dart for that. But like, still, you have to use a higher level programming language. You have to deal with build tools. You have to put that up. You have to test on a device at some point. It's a lot more work than the web puts in front of you as a developer, as someone who wants to produce things on the internet. And I think the web is a powerful resource and powerful platform. And I wanted it to continue to be successful. And I have worked in the standards bodies for things like web components. I have worked with the WebXR specification. I have worked with GLTF, which is a 3D format optimized for WebGL applications as well. So I have been there. I have explored mobile applications and basically what is now called progressive web apps. Before it was called progressive web apps. And I played around with Firefox OS back at the times. And I loved all that, but my impact was very limited. And then Google came along and said, like, hey, would you be interested in this position in the web ecosystem team? And I'm like, what is that? What is this web ecosystem team? And they're like, do you know the web platform team? So Jake and Surma and Mariko and all the other lovely people. And I'm like, yes, I do know that team. Yeah, it's not that team, it's a sister team. I'm like, aha. So the web platform team builds great stuff into the platform, so making sure that browsers can do all sorts of cool stuff and that they do that in a compatible, nice way, and that developers can be successful by using all sorts of great new things. Things like progressive web apps, like the service worker specification comes from that team. A bunch of web stuff for images like Web AV and stuff like that has been going through them. Core Web Vitals have been a thing that the web platform team has worked on. So they are building the platform. But then how do you actually use the platform to build sustainable presences like services, agencies, companies, products, whatever? How do you do that? That's the web content ecosystem. We are here to help people who are making web content be successful by making sure that we have guidance on how to use the web platform, like multiple parts of the web platform together in an interesting, convincing bundle, but also a thing that I noticed in many startups that I worked for. They came up with great products and great things, and no one knew about them because you couldn't find it, because they were great on technology and their vision, but they were not as great on marketing, or even if they were great on marketing, they were not so great on understanding how their technology choices actually influence their visibility in, let's say, organic search, for instance, right? And I have experienced it that we had SEOs or the SEO people in the company talk to the technology people in the company, and there was a mismatch, there was a chasm, and I made it my mission to bridge that gap and kind of like make sure that both sides talk the same language and understand each other and understand the value that each other brings in these discussions. So when I was offered this position, I'm like, ooh, maybe I can help bridge that gap. Maybe I can add the missing pieces of information, and actually by having talked to other developers like me before, maybe I understand their perspective a little better than others, and maybe I can add something to these conversations. And I hope, I really, really do hope that in the last 2 years, that's what I did. Looks like it, but we'll see. I definitely do hope that that's it. So then I decided I think Google is the right place for me to have the right kind of impact to sustain success on the web platform. And I think we're doing well in that end. How did you end up working in tech? I don't know. Originally, I wanted to do something completely different, but then I noticed that we do live in a world where the things you have, the options or the choices you have available to you depend to a certain degree on the money you get, and that we don't value certain occupations as much as I think we should value them. And I did notice that the fact that I could make the computer do what I wanted it to do by programming it and by applying a very broad holistical approach to that, I had gained a little bit of experience over the years, and I could sell that experience and solve problems along the way. Like build interesting software for people to solve their challenges for them or make their lives a little bit easier. And that's how I ended up in tech. But I'm still not super interested in the mathematical puzzles that present themselves while building stuff, or building the 500,000th list of scrolling images on the internet. I'm more interested in the people side of things. When I build software, I build that for people. When I help people be successful in Google search, I don't do that for search. I don't do that for the computing problem that is behind it. I do that so that people are successful and can build a presence and hopefully benefit from the powers that the web gives them. So that's how I ended up in tech. How are the sheep from your area? Are they noisy? Not anymore, because they are gone. They used to be very talkative in the mornings, but I kind of liked it to wake up to the sheep talking to each other. That was kind of cute and funny. And you could hear when they were like stampeding from one part of the meadow to the other, and that was really, really nice. But the lovely, lovely sheep are no longer with us. They have moved on to greener pastures. I hope. But it's really cool. It's a company that rents them out for landscaping purposes, which is quite funny. Has Gary's blog with recipes already started? I don't know. I don't think they have started yet. I'm not sure if Gary, how far Gary is with this. But I don't know, and I won't find out until he's back from vacations. He had to take vacations, so he took vacations for a few days. But we'll be back in the new year. My New Year Eve's plans, as normally what we do is on New Year's, we go have sushi somewhere. Vegetarian anyway, but sushi. And then we go to the lakeside and watch the big fireworks. Well, restaurants are closed and the fireworks canceled. I am trying to rally up a few of my dive buddies to just go diving and have fondue by the lake. We'll see if that works. So that's the plan anyway. Are there any more questions here? Okay, fine. How's the chat? The chat went awfully quiet. How are you? What's your New Year's plans, actually? What are you folks doing for New Year's? And also, Aurora, when are you back in Zurich next time? I want to hang out with cool people. So lots of lovely people here, but a few people have moved away, and I'm like, oh, come on. A friend of mine recently moved to Italy, and I'm like, sad. Any New Year's plans? Anyone? COVID blog. Oh. Does Poland have like a proper full-on lockdown? Do you have to stay at home and cannot meet with other people, or is it just that your plans were to go somewhere and basically like my plans, go out and do stuff that no longer is happening? And what about the others? Are there more questions coming in? It's like it. Yes, more questions are coming in. It's nice. Oh, from the 28th, it's like full on. Oh, wow. Okay, that's worse than Switzerland. In Switzerland, you still can go out. Shops are also open. It's just like restaurants and museums and theaters and movie theaters and blah, blah, blah. All of that is closed. Vancouver, Canada. Oh, I wanted to go to Vancouver at some point. I have not made it there yet. How are restaurants and bars still open? That's so weird. House gatherings are no, but bars and restaurants are fine. Someone in Vancouver's gotta explain this to me. Vancouver is British Columbia, isn't it? Anyway, wow. New question was submitted. Do people recognize you on the street? Luckily, most of the time, no. I love to be in this very specific and niche bubble where only very, very few people actually recognize me. It's really, really nice that way. I was recognized once in the tram. I was sitting there like, and I'm running a local meetup, so I expected to be recognized from that one. So it's like, he's looking at me, and I go close like, hi, what's up? And he's like, I think I know you. And I'm like, that is possible. I think I know you from, and I hoped he said like the meetup, and he said like, YouTube, you did these like SEO things. And I'm like, yes. But nice person. So not a bad thing. But normally I don't get recognized on the street, and I'm actually pretty happy with that. And I remember my first SEO conference ever was, I think, Brighton SEO was the first proper SEO conference that I went to in 2018, beginning of 2018. And I sat there at the lunch table, and the person next to me started a conversation and was like, so where do you work? And I'm like, Google. And they're like, oh no, here we go. But it was also nice. Full blog in Italy as well. Wow. Gee. Sweden doesn't have a full lockdown, but recommendations. We do have recommendations as well. Yeah, like lots of my friends don't want to meet up as well, or only want to meet up like outside. Hey, we don't really meet up indoors, but we could meet up for a Glühwein. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't get my wife to go outside in the cold weather. Well, even though it's not that cold, actually, it's 10 degrees plus. So I could meet them, but I couldn't meet them with my wife because my wife can't be asked to leave the house, I think. So that's a tricky one. London lockdown. Yeah, I mean, London has like, don't know if you know the film 28 Days Later, Damien, but from here, it sounds like that's more or less what's happening there. So interesting. Stay safe, please. What was the strangest question you received about JavaScript? I think the strangest question probably was, is JavaScript the devil? Which is beautifully captured in the SEO myth-busting episode that I did with Jamie Alberico. And holy macaroni, that was, I wanted to laugh out really loud, but I think I actually did in one of the takes, and then we cut that out. But that was interesting. Yeah, the mutant strain is exactly what worries me there, Damien. The mutant strain in London does sound, not from the effects, but like from the way the entire thing is, it does sound a lot like 28 Days Later. So please stay safe. All right, ladies and gents, I think I have to, actually, let me double check if that is true. Is that today? Yeah, it's today. Okay, so I'll hop into my next meeting. And this has been lovely. I think I might be doing one before New Year's just for the shits and giggles. And I kind of like how a lot of people ask really interesting, fun questions. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks everyone who participated in the live chat. Thanks for giving me the idea to dive in Silver Planner. I now need to work that one out into the next year's plans. It has been a huge honor. It has been a huge pleasure. Ladies and gents, stay safe, stay healthy, have a wonderful holiday season. Hope to see you all soon again. I'll put something on Twitter if I do this kind of stream again. This has been fun. You're all fantastic. Enjoy, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep rocking. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.